Black African American nabo balinnye mu kyoto anti olwaleero beegasse ku kibiina kya National Unity Platform. Abaddugavu bonna abayimbi ba hip hop abayimba ennyimba ez'akabi mu ggwanga lya Amerika b'omanyi ab'akabi abayimba ennyimba ezakwatayo ezanyuma ennyo ne ku mulundi guno nga bakyayimba ennyimba embi emmenje balangiridde olunaku olwaleero nti nno beegasse ku kibiina kya National Unity Platform People Power okulwanirira eddembe lya bannayuganda okulwanirira Uganda okulaba ng'efuna obukulembeze obujja nga Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine yakikuttemu. Bagamba tibayinza kulekerera muyimbi munnaabwe Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine alwane yekka olutalo gaggadde bamuleke bulesi oluusi bamufotoole nga bo balaba. Bagamba omuzannyo guno baguyingiddemu ate nallo ate live nga tewali kwekweka wadde okwekwenyakwenya nga bagenda gutandikira mu Amerika baguleete paka mu Africa. Balangiridde omwaka ogujja mu July bagenda kulumba eggwanga lya Uganda wano bakube ekikopo kya Kyagulanyi okuva nsonda ku nsonda nga bakola ebivulo eby'enjawulo era nga bakola enkuŋŋaana ez'enjawulo nga bakuutira Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert akadingidi nti bo bali batuuze ba Amerika era obuvunaanyizibwa bakwatako Amerika era embassy ya Amerika yabavunaanyizibwako so si mwami Museveni nti bagenda kujja bakuba ekikopo wano kati Museveni akole kyakola. Bo bagenda kujja ne kamera z'ensi yonna balangiridde okujja ne BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, Sky News, bagenda kujja ne ABC, bagenda kujja ne NBC, bonna empapula z'amawulire, TV z'amawulire, radio z'amawulire eby'eggwanga lya Amerika ate nga ebisinga mu nsi yonna bagenda kubisitula omwaka ogujja mu July babikube mu ggwanga lya Uganda. Balangiridde bagenda kumalawo ebbanga ddeneko nga bayiggira Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert Bobi Wine akalulu n'okumuyiggira obuwagizi mu bannayuganda n'okwongera okuzibula bannayuganda amaaso nti nno ekkuba eddungamu era okufuna emirembe mu Uganda mulina kuba nga Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Bobi Wine ye mukulembeze. Bagamba bina byakweyiwa ku nguudo kwekalakaasa bayetegefu okuba ne bannayuganda. Bagamba nga amasasi gagenda kuvuga ku olwo bo bali ready okugamira amasasi aganaavuga ku olwo. Naye nga Mwami Museveni amanya nti najja kuba ali ku batuuze ba Amerika oba bannansi ba Amerika ba Black Africa American baali mu kuggulako olutalo nti ekinava mu mpale ez'ebiraka n'akiwulira. Bagamba baagala kwongera kusindiikiriza Mwami Museveni paka ku kisenge ayongere okukola ensobi Amerika ez'okuka eve mu tulo gy'eri esobole okukwata ku Mwami Museveni. Bagamba tibayinza kulekerera Kyagulanyi buli mbeera zonna bagenda kuba naye era bagenda kuba ne bannayuganda. Bagamba bo Bafrika naye tebamanyi wa gye baava tebamanyi buzaale bwabwe olw'abakulembeze ba Afrika abakoze nnyo okukyayisa abaddugavu ensi Afrika eggwanga lyabwe kalica yaabwe ennono zaabwe byonna nga bikyayisa olw'okuba bo baagala okufuna obusente obutono okuva mu bazungu. Bagamba balina okuba ne identity balina okuba n'ekibaawula ku balala bo si bazungu si bakyeruppe wabula baddugavu ba Afrika n'olwekyo baagala nnyo Afrika. Era bano batandise n'okwogera olulimi Oluganda okulaga nti nno bali serious era nti bana bazze kuno bagenda kuba bayimba nnyimba za Luganda ate nga boogera lulimi Luganda. Bagamba bo baganda baffe naffe tuli baganda baabwe n'olwekyo balina okulwanirira kontinenti yaabwe Afrika efuna obukulembeze obulungi obukulembeze obw'omugigi omuto ogunakuuma Afrika ng'eri waggulu kubanga Afrika yesinga obugagga. Ebigambo nno byongedde okusoba. Mwami Museveni kyabika ekijja tajja kisobola tajja kukyagala anti Kyagulanyi ayongedde okumufuukuulira fitina. Bano bazze beetabye mu lukuŋŋaana lwa NUP Diaspora Convention 2023 wano Washington DC. Era ebigambo biboogera bya busungu bya busagwa. Nkusaba onneegatteko tugende Washington DC tulabe bannaffe bano ba Black Africa American bwe balangiridde nti omwaka ogujja balumba mu July wano beegattwamu ne Kyagulanyi okutalaga eggwanga Uganda kati Mwami Museveni agiyo tiyaggaasi we bajja kumumira. Bo bali redde balabe tiyaggaasi bo nga bannansi ba Amerika go bagula ensimbi zaweereza Mwami Museveni okuzigulamu tiyaggaasi ate akube bannansi ba Amerika nti ku luno bagenda musindika bamuteeke ku kisenge awulire bwe kigenda okutokota. Lwaki mbalwisaayo katugende wali mu Washington DC obeewulirireko ebigambo byabwe munnange bwe biwooma okuwulira.
I was born by the river in a little tent. And just like that river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time I'm coming.
Cool.
But I know a change is gonna come. Oh, yes, it is. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the skies. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change is gonna come.
Change is gonna come.
Yes, it is.
Can't take it
So
down.
I go to my brothers and my sisters, yeah, and I say, brother, help me please. But it winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Oh, it's been a long time coming, but I know a change is gonna come. Oh, yes, it is.
Yes, Steve.
Clap for yourself. You are a part of the change I sing
Change
about.
is gonna come.
You are that coming.
Yep.
I start with music because it's important that we remember the vibration that is life, that African people willed. We are the cultural currency. When our organization, the Teaching Artists Institute, says that culture is the new currency, I'm talking about our culture. We are the rhythm people. And when we meet today in this room, we're not just talking about Uganda. At this time, I want to invite my panelists, just stand beside me. Forget the high table and the importance of sitting down. Stand beside me, stand in unity, stand in power. We have Priscilla Nda from Cote d'Ivoire. We also have Alex Nalo from Sierra Leone. Stand with me. You see, it's important that you remember that we're not talking about Uganda. We're talking about Africa for Africans at home and abroad. We're talking about Bia in Cameroon. We're talking about the transition from one generation to the next. I want you to remember what our predecessors were dealing with imperialism and colonization and the remnants of that. You know, when I listened to Museveni's speeches early on, he sounded a lot like Bobi Wine. But power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So when I hear somebody like Bobi Wine, an artist after my own heart, talk about the importance of people power, it is you that we're referring to. But I need you to remember your identity. Because if we get in power, and you will win, you will get in power. Nobody lives forever. You will win. The question is, when it's your turn at the mantle, what will you create? Ideation, design thinking. How are you going to make space to bring artists to decision-making tables? How are you going to decolonize education? Because taking Museveni's power is not enough if you duplicate the same systems that put him into leadership. The truth is that the Western powers benefit from the underdevelopment of Africa. I am not just talking about the work in Uganda. We are interconnected. I was in Mozambique and I saw the Portuguese language spoke so proudly. And me as a black woman, English is the only language I speak. So I'm proud to say Muganda Wangi, right? Because I'm learning slowly. And as I convince my brothers and sisters in the diaspora that we need to go home to Africa, I need you to stand up and make sure that we're creating the Africa we want now. because I know that you'll win. I know you will assume leadership. But if my brothers and sisters are coming back to Uganda to celebrate Catholicism, if they're coming back to Uganda to celebrate the democratic systems that were given to you, what is the rule of leadership that we've designed? How do we develop economies based on African-centered values, barter and trade? What is the Baganda's kingdom? Where are the clans? How can we empower the chieftaincy? What is it that we're going to do to decide the cultural value of Uganda? Because you are in leadership. It's bigger than Bobi Wine. He is the beginning of a movement across the continent, and the young people are looking to you for leadership. They're looking to you for leadership, and we have an identity crisis. We are trying to decide who we are. Black skin, white mask. The question becomes, what is the cultural relevance of Uganda for the next generation? And how will that influence Africans everywhere? Culture is the new currency. And us in the diaspora, we are in support of you. We want to be a part of your movement. When we show up to your shores, we want to know, are you going to give us citizenship? Are you going to welcome us as valuable assets to the redevelopment of Africa? We're artists and creators, all of us. And at the next generation, we're talking about reconciliation. Because after Museveni is gone, we'll be left with our broken societies if we don't use art as a tool to figure out the healing now. How are we going to heal after this? I'm here because I'm on the winning team. You will win. But what next? What next? Black people all over the world are suffering from an internal sickness. It grows inside of us. How are we going to heal from that? I'm here as an artist giving you what we have. I heard the speaker before me say that it was the civility of the enslaved African that perpetuated the enslavement of African people and U.S. soil. Let me tell you, we never stopped fighting. We fought until we were free. There were slave insurrections, but we are the rhythm people. Our songs were our source of disagreement. The Negro spirituals maintained our sanity. Hip-hop, this is the 50th year of hip-hop. We used our music to speak back to this system. How is Uganda's artist class gonna come to the front of this movement and use their paintbrushes? How are they gonna use their dances, their music? This is your power, the power to create and define reality. So I look forward to having our artists in Uganda, in Rwanda, in Tanzania. We work in these countries on the ground. We'll be in Uganda next July having this conversation. He said, are you ready to have this conversation on Ugandan soil?
Ready.
Guess what? Your African brothers and sisters in the diaspora already have a date on the calendar. We'll be there next July 2024 to have this conversation. We are not afraid. It's not about fear. We liberated our people here and we'll help to do it there. But guess what? We understand what comes with that liberation. Our people will be broken at the end of this fight when the Europeans and the ICC look and say, I told you so. Look at what the Africans are doing again. Look at the abuse. Look at the torture camps. We are the ones that will be left to pick up the broken pieces. And so I beg of you now, do not allow emotion to cloud how you work with our young people and babies. They are broken. They are afraid, and they're looking to you for leadership. Use art. Sing them mamas a lullaby. Mamas, we need you to come to the front. I'm talking now to the women. You are the first creator. In your womb, you will find the tenets of all creation, Black woman. You are an artist. Your uterus is the first creation. I need you to sing a lullaby to the young people. I need you to remind them of their identities. I need you to help them heal through the process that we're dealing with and prepare them for what's next. I'm joined by brothers and sisters from Cote d'Ivoire and Sierra Leone because they are also using their art as a tool to heal their societies.
Thanks very much, Kim. People power. People power. I call myself a comrade because we all belong to the same struggle. Imagine for a second, we have a sudden death of Museveni. It's not by our revolution, it's not by our ballots. Today, we are witnessing the sudden death of Museveni. He's dead, right? Okay, now, the big question is, can Uganda rise? We're here today because we believe in liberation. We're here because we believe that culture is the new currency. The fight we have is not about Museveni, it's not about dictatorship. It's about the spirit of Museveni. And that spirit has become the African spirit in all African nations. It's about corruption, it's about self. It's about neglecting our people, it's about dividing ourselves. It's about using our resources meant for the greater good for ourselves and oppressing our people. That is the spirit we need to fight. And we cannot fight that spirit, but we need to replace that spirit with what I call the new African liberation movement. Culture is the new currency. What do we believe in? Who are we? What are our values? What are our principles? The culture of Museveni goes beyond his 37-year rule in Uganda. He became president when I was 4 years old. Amazing, right? Crazy. But every story you hear in Uganda with a 37-year-old dictator, you can get that same story in Sierra Leone, and we don't have anyone who has been president for even 15 years. It goes beyond dictatorship. We're fighting a culture. That's the culture of Museveni. His influence on the continent, his principles, his values have been a seed of bad leadership on our continent. We need to rise as Africans, and we need to replace that culture with the Bobi wine culture. That's a culture of hope. It is not about Bobi Wine as a person, but it's about a culture of standing up. It's about the culture of saying that I have to give it up all to fight for what is right. It's about a culture that I have to stand for what is right when no one is watching. It's about a culture of unity. It's about a culture of believing in Uganda and believing in an African. It's about a culture of hope. It's about a culture of ensuring that Ugandans can live in Uganda and fulfill their potentials. That is the culture we need. We say culture is a new currency. So we are not fighting, we are not here to say we are fighting Museveni, that we want to fight him with the guns. But yes, if he came by the guns, he can be fought by the guns. But let me tell you this. In our generation, our gun is different. We are living in the AI generation. Culture is a currency. Our culture is our bullet, it's our weapon. We are going to use to liberate our nation, Uganda. I call it our nation because I'm an African. And I believe that every African share the Ugandan story. We say culture is a new currency. And that is what we need to be, that is what we need to do. We are using this culture not only to fight and defeat Museveni, but we want to use this culture to buy him out. We want to use this culture to defeat him. We want to use this culture to bring down the long stance of dictatorship, because we believe that it has affected our continent a lot. Again, we ask, what are we using? It's about the emotions. For 37 years, don't we have brave, intelligent, and strong men from Uganda? For 37 years, we've had people in different forms and shapes coming like Bobi Wine, right? For 37 years. But this is it. It's a marathon and not a sprint. We need to endure, and we need to often tell ourselves that if we have to take the spirit, start with self. We need a personal approach to ensure that we win, and we need a personal approach. Our leader, our president, Bobi Wine, is seated here today because he took a personal journey. So you want to ask yourself for a moment, why are you part of the National Unity Platform? Are you part of this platform because you want to follow Bobi Wine? Are you part of this platform because you only believe in his leadership? What is a pain to you? Are you part of this platform because you think that enough should be enough? Are you part of this platform to say, even if I wake up tomorrow and Bobi Wine says that I'm no longer going to lead this movement, we are going to continue with this fight? It should be personal. That is the spirit we need. Because the more we have that individual spirit and we come together as a collective, that is how we'll win. Culture is a new currency. It's powerful. What stories are we telling our kids? What are we teaching them? What art are we using to build our communities? How are we using this art to ensure that we come together as a community? How do we develop ourselves? Do we care about ourselves? Do we love ourselves? A house divided cannot stand. How united are we in our unity of the National Unity Platform? How united are we? Are we interested in getting out Museveni because we want to be the next generation of corrupt African leaders? Is that our intent? We have to keep asking ourselves now and then. But we need to be intentional. And we need to be resolute. We need to be radical in our approaches to ensuring that we build a generation of people who are fearless. But not only people who are fearless, but people who are determined to win. People who are determined to succeed. And with culture as a currency, we can and we will buy out Museveni. Thank you.
Likikwanga moyo Motema nyamye Yesu Likikwanga fia su Anyama nore nyamye o inkro Nyamye Foma de foi Jésus o adewa Foma de foi Jésus o adewa La fille Yesu
So good music.
O adewa Oma ananga mangwa Hey
Africa is so beautiful.
Ananga mangwa Foma de foi Jésus o adewa
Beyoncé singeno.
Foma de foi Jésus o
Alama Africa.
La fille Yesu o adewa Oma ananga mangwa.
Ananga mangwa.
The title of this song is Owadewa. It is in my language tribe, which is Baoulé. I am Dapriska and I am from Côte d'Ivoire.
Côte d'Ivoire.
The most hospitable country in the world. So I am a teacher and I'm also a singer. I have noticed that my students were not motivated about learning English. So I decided to use my artistry, which is music, to teach my students. And I've conducted this research work and I've saw that it worked. It works. They started loving English. They started liking this language. And I also use music to promote peace and non-violence in my community. So you can understand that music or art play a very significant role in the building of the community. I am a Mandela Washington Fellow, and as part of my professional development experience, I am working with the Teaching Artists Institute. At the Teaching Artists Institute, I am learning and understanding about the importance of African arts and also the preservation of languages that are disappearing in Africa. So I am working now on the project, which is 2 books. Me and Kim, we are working on this project. It is a book for students from elementary school. These books will be written in 4 languages: Baoulé, which is the language of my tribe in Côte d'Ivoire, also English, and also Swahili, Luganda, and because I'm also bilingual, I speak French, I speak English, I speak my mother tongue, so this book will also be written in French for our students, for our children. So I take this opportunity to invite you on the event, a community event that will take place on the 27th of August. I will be performing this song that you just heard, or what they were, and I will also cook a special meal for my country, which we call sauce with fufu. This is pounded banana, pounded yam with okra, dried okra soup. So you are all invited because this day will be the release of the 2 books and the day where I will perform this song, or what they were, which means here we save you. So thank you for having me here today. I'm learning a lot here in the United States during this program with the Teaching Artists Institute. Thank you again.
So the reason that I invited Pressica to be here with us today is because it's important to know that we're still living our real lives as we go on this journey towards liberation. And language is so important. Are you writing this story? Even this story. We were so inspired when we saw that there was a documentary about the man and his music. That is the culture. But each one of you are a part of this movement. Are you writing your story right now, today? The fact that you were in this room, in Luganda or in English, in Richiga. What are the languages of Uganda? These are the tools of your liberation. Take a stand and say that we will define us for us. The U.S. is not going to save you. The West is not going to save you. The ICC is not going to save you. Culture is the new currency, and through our culture, we will save ourselves. Thank you again. My name is Kim Poole.
Oh, sweet presentation. Ooh. Wonderful.
That was a powerful
So powerful.
discussion. Thank you so much.
Lovely.
Thank you so much for loving Uganda. Thank you so much for loving Africa. Thank you for loving the blackness in us. And thank you so much for the unity. And at this moment, you all had women. I think when we watched the movie yesterday, we saw the passion that Mrs. Chagulanyi had. Women, let's get up. We should be part of the movement. We shouldn't be scared. She did her job. We should all do our jobs. And at this moment, I would like to introduce Mr. Karim to come and give us a brief history of whoever is going to be talking.
Thank you. My name is Karim Tambi, and our next topic is going to be diaspora as effective advocates, shaping the U.S.-African relations and policies towards Africa. And our presenter is going to be Mr. Melvin Fort. Melvin is a founder and president of the Constituency of Africa. He is also a board member of the African Society, Mr. Melvin has worked so hard when it comes to the US African policy. He's
can live in Uganda and fulfill.
Ebigambo mubiwulidde bibatuuseeko bulungi mwenna oli wano ng'owuliriza ebigambo bino otegeezebwa nti obudde buwe nnyo ebwangwa byokalicayo kalica gye bagamba ey'okuba ow'amazima nti oyagala amazima obeere wa mazima mu nzikiza ewali ettaala ne watali nti kino kye kigenda okutuyamba okufuna Uganda ennungi Africa ennungi ffenna abaana ba Africa tuli kimu tuli muntu omu era tewali nsi esinga Africa bulungi ebyobugagga bya Africa bingi ffe tulina emmere ffe tulina emmere erinakyo ffe tulina buli kimu nga kirungi ebyobugagga byonna Mukama yabiwaffe abaddugavu naye abakulembeze be tubadde nabo ebbanga eddene bye tubadde nabo abakulembeze abo batuliddemu olukwe abakulembeze abo batukoze jabu batubbyeko ebyobugagga byaffe Kabira abazungu ku bwereere olw'okubbo okwenywereza mu buyinza ate babbe abannansi kale nno mwe abannaafrika mwe mulina okwerwanako bagambye si mulimu gwa Kyagulanyi ye yakola ekikye n'ayo sacrifice nga akulembera olutabaalo naye omulimu gugwo gwe munna Africa munna Uganda okulaba ng'ofuna Africa ennungi ng'ofuna Uganda ennungi nti singa bukyenkya Kyagulanyi n'akivaamu n'agamba nze nkivuddemu bamuguze oba n'akola ebirala n'agamba nze bintamye ngolo struggle komao mwino okuba ab'amazima ne struggle akimanya nti struggle togirimu lwa Kyagulanyi togirimu lwa gundi togirimu lwa kufunamu wabula ogirimu lwa bizibu ebiri mu Africa bizibu ebiri mu Uganda okulaba ng'okola ensi ennungi abaana bo abazzukulu bo gye balyeyagaliramu ng'Abamerika abo ng'Abazungu abo bwe bakola ensi zaabwe kati ezeyagulamu abaana baabwe naffe ne tudduka waffe tugende waabwe tunyumirwe bo bye baalwanirira naye nga twaffe tusobola kubirwanirira kubiteekayo kati nno culture kintu kikulu gye tulina okukulembeza nga tulwana olutalo luno yegenda okutuyamba okulaba nga Africa yaffe ate eddamu okuyitimuka okubeera waggulu nga naffe batwegombera nga twegombesa abo abalala era nga tukuba abalogo tuli mu NUP Diaspora Convention 2023 wano Washington DC wekyawabikira era wekitokotera obawulidde abo bayimbi kuva Cote d'Ivoire kuva amawanga ag'enjawulo naye nga ba Black American bavuddeyo abagamba balina okubeera ne Kyagulanyi balina okuba ne NUP People Power n'Oluganda balwogedde muluwulidde nti tulina kutambulira wamu ngaffe abaana ba Africa okununula Africa guno omugendo oguliwo gwa kununula Africa kugijja mu mikono mibi gidde mu mikono emilungi egyagaliza Africa nti abakulembeze abaatusooka ab'emyaka gya Mwami Museveni bo gwabwe gwali gwa kunyagulula Africa nti kati ffe abaana ba leero tulina okuzzaawo ebya Africa ebitwaliddwa Africa tugizimbe ebeere ya mulembe bano nno balangiridde nti omwaka ogujja mu June bagenda kujja Uganda wano onoowulira embaga bagenda kusitula bannaabwe bonna abayimbi aba Black American okuva mu America bonna amakanda bagasimbe Uganda wano okuutira Kyagulanyi akadingidi n'okwongera okugula bannayuganda amaaso nti omwana omuyimbi Kyagulanyi Sentamu Robert Bobi Wine President yekkuba ery'amazima n'obulamu ensangi zino kubyokununula eggwanga Uganda gumulina okugoberera era gwe tulina okutembeeta paka nga tujjawo gavumenti ya Mwami Museveni bano balangiridde nti bo America abaddugavu era America yebavunaanyizibwako n'olwekyo bajja kulwanirira Africa yaabwe ate nga America egenda kubanga ebabaakinga kati Mwami Museveni bw'anaakola ensobi yonna ebinaava mu mpale y'ebiraka munaatunyumiza olukuŋŋaana lunyumye lusufu buli avaayo okwogera ebigambo binyuma biwoomu okuwulira naye kwe kusalawo mbireete mbibatuuseeko mutambule n'okumanya ebiki ebigenda maaso mu convention eno era biki ebyatute Kyagulanyi ne banna-NUP mu convention eno bategese yaki oba kansaba obufune bulungi ate bw'obufuna naye butambuze obwongereyo obuwe banna abalala nabo bategeere ki ekigenda maaso mu convention eno kino kituyambe okwongera okutambuza obubaka butuuke ku oyo omuntu asembayo amanye nti bye tuliko bya ddala byakutereeza nsi yaffe mbaagala nnyo mwenna ababaddeko mwebale kubaako mwebale kunjagala nange mbaagala Omukama nsaba bankuumire tujja kuba tuddamu tuwaye mweraba